The Monarch Series is brought to you by Sissons, Colour by Sissons, and Netherlands Insurance, proud supporter of the arts. Hello everyone, welcome to Lexan TV, and on this week's episode we get to kick off the Monarch Series. The Monarch Series essentially will be featuring past winners from various carnival competitions over the years. Listen, we're going to take it way back, even when the Spice Mass Corporation was not in existence. It's going to get quite exciting right here on Lexan TV for the month of August. My guest for this first episode, Kellyanne Ross Danielle. Now, many of you would have remembered Kellyanne copying the title in 1994, and yes, she went on to win countless titles thereafter. I'm talking about almost 5 Caribbean titles, and to me that makes her definitely one of the most decorated carnival queens of our time. I'm so happy to get to connect with her after all these years to find out what this did for her career and what she's been up to. Here's my feature on the 1994 Carnival Queen, Kellyanne Ross Danielle.
The last of 4 girls. Evelyn Ross and Marcel Ross are my parents, as most of you watching would probably know. But it was so much fun growing up in a house with 4 girls. We never, ever had a fight. And most people are like, what do you mean? 4 girls in the house and you guys never, you never got into any arguments or so, but we always got along. So my first sister, which is Leisha, the eldest one, she always used to write plays and she would have us act it out. So every time our parents had company over, we had to do a performance. Okay, so it was almost like something from Sound of Music where you see the kids line up and we're performing and stuff in front of my parents' guests. So that was always fun. We looked forward to it. We had to rehearse all lines. Leisha always had us, all the cousins, we were in like a club when we had to make sure we knew like the correct passcode and everything in order to be, a member of the club for that particular day. So it was always like fun stuff, even like with my other sisters and everything, and cousins, just growing up with them, it was a wonderful experience and I would never trade it for the world. So it's Alicia, Rena, Simone, and then myself. The first idea of it actually came to me 1 year before that when I was actually approached to take part in the Queen Show for 1993. And when I was approached at the time, I'm like, well, wait a second, I have to have like a talent and this, that. I'm like, what am I going to do for talent? So I couldn't really think of anything that I wanted to do. I love art, but obviously I can't go up on stage and paint, paint a scenery. And I could play the piano, but not on stage. So I passed it up. Actually, the first offer that I had to participate in Miss Grenada for the Queen Show, I turned it down the first year. And then I was approached again. And then Steele's Auto wanted to actually be my sponsor, which was wonderful. So thanks, Derek Steele and family. So when they approached and stuff, I said, you know what? This year, they're actually not having any talent. This was the first year ever that they did not include talent for the Queen Show. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to try, now is my chance because I wouldn't have to be too nervous about figuring out what to do on stage for the talent. So that was basically my deciding factor to take part in the Queen Show for 1994.
Chosen round for Kellyanne Ross, contestant number 3.
I didn't mind too much being in front of people because I used to do little fashion shows here and there, whether it was like at the Rex Hotel, on a Sunday afternoon. So I didn't really mind doing that part of it, being in front of a crowd or being in front of people. My issue was public speaking because I've never been on a platform like this before. So this would have been my first time in front of a large crowd of people. And, it was nerve-wracking, but fortunately enough, my dad, Evelyn Ross, is a fantastic public speaker. So he gave me like a few pointers, which definitely helped. So like when I was on stage, I wasn't focusing on the crowd. I would just look off to, for instance, like a point when I was answering. So, instead of me answering a question and saying, oh my gosh, I see so-and-so in the crowd, or this person just tripped and fell, or what have you, like instead of me focusing on those things, I just would like stare to like one point, a particular area or what have you, in order for me to answer the question. So my dad gave me some good tips, so that helped. But I was like, still a little nervous on stage. The public appearances were great, so we got to go to Government House. We went to different, hotels. We had different appearances, radio, so it was nice. It was a wonderful experience, but the more I did it, the more I got comfortable speaking publicly on stage, the radio, etc.
This costume celebrates the newly found liberation of Africans, whether royalty or freedom fighter, and combining the colorful beauty of their great traditions and symbols to bring us an explosion of color and movement, appropriately called Africa Today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the essence of Africa, brought to you tonight by Kellyanne Ross, Miss Steele's Auto Supplies.
If I were given a chance to be the Prime Minister for a day, I would arrange a seminar with the medical authorities and the doctors at the General Hospital, and I will ask them to make a list of all the necessary equipment and medical drugs which they need for the hospital, and I will arrange with the friendly countries of Grenada to come and donate something on that list, and that can be done in one day. Thank you.
The Grenada Carnival Queen of 1994 is none other than contestant number 3, Miss Kellyanne Ross. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Contestant number 3, the 1994 Queen of Carnival, Grenada.
Thank the Lord for allowing me to win the Carnival 1994 Queen Show. I would also like to thank my sponsor, Steele's Auto Supplies, for going the extra way to sponsoring me, and I am really appreciative of that. I would also like to thank all my supporters, my chaperone, Jackie Williamson, as well as everyone else who made this night possible for me.
After becoming Miss Grenada in 1994, the first pageant that I had to do was actually in Dominica for the Miss OECS, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States. So that one, I won in Dominica the following year. Like a couple months after that was Miss Carnival, which was in St. Vincent's. So I won that one also. Then after that, it was Miss Caribbean Bikini, which was in St. Martin. Then there was Miss Model International. That one was in Martinique. I think there was like one more. I have to like try and remember, but there were like 5. There were about 5 different pageants. But the funny thing, it was like, I guess I did get comfortable just, being there, what have you, on stage. So the nerves, I really wasn't that nervous being on stage as opposed to some of the others who may have been competing for the first time in those particular pageants. So it just kind of came naturally to me. I was calm, comfortable on the stage. I answered the questions. And, even though, for instance, like Miss Model International or, for instance, Miss OECS, besides winning that title, I would also win other subtitles under Miss Personality, Miss Photogenic. They would have a title, Best Legs, talent, so I would win other things besides just, the title. And it was fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It was wonderful. Great experience. I would have loved to be entered in the competition for Miss Universe. Now, don't get me wrong. If the opportunity presented itself for Miss World, I would have absolutely loved to have represented Grenada for that. But we already had Jennifer Holston. So since we already had a Miss World and we never had a Miss Universe, to me, if I could have gone back in time, that would have been the international competition I would have loved to participate in, just to see and, give Grenada an opportunity. And, it's not even just about winning, but just sometimes being at those locations and, it puts Grenada on the map. So if I could have done something and, gone back in time and say, okay, let's go for Miss Universe, I would have liked to. But unfortunately, back then, I don't think Grenada actually had like the funding because, they were more or less saying, okay, well, if you guys could afford to go or what have you. And I'm like, wait. I'm representing Grenada, not the Ross family, So if we could have gone back in time, I would say Miss Universe. And, like I said, just because we never had anybody, win for Miss Universe from Grenada. So when I won the Miss Model International, one of the judges who was actually there for the show, his name was John Blassingame, and he had several different magazines in New York. There was, Sophisticate's Black Hair, for instance, was one of them. So because I won that particular pageant, they flew me up and they did a spreadsheet, so I did several different photos and stuff for them, for the magazine. And just from doing that particular magazine and speaking to other models, finding out which agencies they work with, I kept in touch with some of them. So when I actually came up here to go to school, I'm like, I definitely want to get into this. So when I first came to New York, I started at SUNY New Paltz, and it was like an hour away from Manhattan, and all the castings are taking place in the city, which, is Manhattan. So after my first year, I'm like, all right, you know what? I can't hop on a bus to be at a casting. Like, it's going to take like almost an hour and a half or what have you. So basically what I did, I transferred and went to a school in Manhattan itself. And I found a modeling agency, and they were able to actually send me out on jobs. I did a lot of photo shoots for different hair companies. Like you mentioned before, the TV, film, I was in Sex and the City. The Best Man, I was actually at the bar in the movie. So I was in one of the scenes for that. Several music videos. I did music videos, and this one was actually quite funny. So I did a music video for a group called Limp Bizkit. I had no idea who they were. Okay, so the agency sent me to the casting. I went to it. So I had no idea that Fred Durst and the other members of, of the group, they were the ones that was actually selecting everybody during the casting. So I went, I danced, I was just having a good time. They played music. I never heard their music before, but being West Indian and having some rhythm, I just moved to the floor, what have you. And other girls, they were nervous because they knew that these were the members of the band. I had no clue. So I wasn't nervous at all. I went, and I just had fun with it. And, that's how I ended up booking that particular music video. And just from being in that one and, networking, like I said, I was able to get into more music videos. So one of the ones that was really fun, I did Marshall Montano, Dance With You. And that one was with Mr. Vegas. So once again, the agency sent me out for the casting for that. And, it was kind of funny because they're not West Indian. So they're telling me there's a casting for Michelle Montano. So I'm like, who's Michelle? So I'm like, okay, I showed up for the casting not knowing it was actually Marshall Montano I was going to be auditioning for. And when I went, I saw a couple of familiar faces and stuff. And, when, they played the music, we had rehearsal, I booked the job, and it was fun. But it's all about networking. You could know a lot of people, but at the same time, you also do have to put God first and pray and trust that you make the right decisions and you don't go down the wrong path. Just want to put that in there, But it was just like a lot of fun, but the key thing would definitely be networking.
You're watching the Monarch Series here on Lexan TV. We'll be right back after this.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
I found myself a Grenadian of here in New York. So that was actually a cute story. I actually met him on his birthday at his aunt's house. And I had no idea, he was Grenadian or who he was or anything when we first met. But it turns out that my husband, Andre Daniel, both of his parents are Grenadian. His mother is Sonia Wells. His father is Richard Daniel. He had the nickname Selu. I know he was very well known up here, especially in New York. But from the moment I met him, that was it. So the beautiful thing about it, we got married about 10 years ago. And now we have two daughters, Amanda Daniel and Kristen Daniel. And yes, they've been following in my footsteps. So from the time they were 5 and 6 months old, I got them into modeling. So I found my cousin, Tamra, actually found an agency for me that her kids were with. And as soon as, they saw the girls, they were like, absolutely, we'd love to work with them. And it's kind of like what you said with like a tidal wave of stuff just rolling in. It's like the jobs just kept coming in one after the next. So with both of them, they've both done TV shows, they've done print work, they've done stuff for like Gap Carters, FBI, New Amsterdam. Yeah, I mean, I could just go on, but, so I'm very, very proud of them. And one of the things I would like them to learn or to take away from all of this is, enjoy every single moment. Enjoy it whilst you're there, meet friends. The beautiful thing about it, with social media now, this really wasn't around back in my time, but when they go out to jobs, we're able to keep in touch with a lot of the other little kids that they work with, thanks to social media. So, like on Instagram. So, they've developed like a lot of friendships on there. Then, you see like they're calling their friends, they want to have play dates, so it's just really nice to see them grow and to have friends other than the ones that they, would meet in school. But I definitely want to make sure that they're grounded. A lot of the times when their work comes out, I don't make too much of a big deal out of it for them to, think, oh, well, I did this and, so-and-so didn't do that. To them, this is what they know. So it's kind of like they're normal, more or less. So I don't think it's not like it definitely didn't get to their head. I don't see them walking around thinking that, oh, I did this particular job and start listing stuff. No, they're still regular, normal kids that want to go in the park and play, So, and of course they love coming down to Grenada, so hopefully for Christmas or something, we'll get to come down. But, with the COVID restrictions, and this is why, there's no carnival this year. We're going to skip this year coming for Carnival, but they do enjoy, going down to town for Carnival. They like the little jab helmet, so they definitely enjoy Grenada as well as, their life that they're having up here as well. But one of the things I definitely want to make sure they are grounded. They know where they're coming from. Both parents, are Grenadians. So they definitely have to know the Grenadian side of it as well, which they absolutely love. I've been up here in the US for about 26 years now. And during my time, I was in college, and one of the girls that I was doing music videos and stuff with, she approached me one day and she said, oh, would you like to do wine tastings? It's really simple. Sometimes it's at a bar or club or the liquor store, and you basically get paid to go to a place, sample people on different products, and, you get to have fun and you're getting paid. That's the best part, and it pays well. So I looked into it and I decided, I'm like, you know what, let me try it out. So I started off about 26 years ago, as soon as I came up here, what have you, to get into the actual liquor industry. So when I started off as a promo model, we would do different brands, whether it's Smirnoff Ice, Bailey's, different products. And we'll go to the bars, but the funny thing with it was that sometimes when I did the liquor stores, I would sell so much that they will keep calling me back and they're like, oh, are you available Friday? So maybe about 3 or 4 companies would ask me to work at the same time on the same day. And I'm like, you know what? I have friends who, are available. Let me just call and, see if they can do it for you. So I said, I'm booking all of these people for work and I'm not getting anything for it. So let me start my own modeling agency, or a tasting agency, more or less, not modeling, but a tasting company. And I started K.A. Ross Marketing. And my liquor company, I've been booking girls for over 20 years now. I started off as a promo model myself, which is, makes it easier to understand what they're going through, since I used to do it myself. So by doing that, I got my name out there, and then I got a call a little over 11 years ago to work at Royal Wine Corp. And that's a company that I'm with right now. So besides being the on-premise manager for the company, for the non-kosher account, so I basically handle the restaurants and bars and stuff in the New York City area, metro area. So it's, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Long Island, Queens, New Jersey. I handle those accounts with the sales reps. But besides that, I'm also in charge of booking all of the tastings for the company at the liquor stores. And, it was becoming a lot of work calling each person individually. Hey, are you available? No, you're not. All right, let me try somebody else. So I said, something? There are other agencies that are out there that are also, booking girls or guys to do the tastings. And instead of me looking at them as a competitor, let me hire my competition. So now I have sub agencies under me. So I have several different, companies that also have, their people that they recruit for the tastings. And it just, made us a lot larger and stronger. And, we're able to take on a lot more work. So that's that one particular part of the business. And then you mentioned as well with the black cake. So I just have a love of black cake. Growing up as a kid, one of my favorite childhood memories around Christmas time was being in the kitchen, helping my mom make black cake. And, when I came up here in New York, I would always make it, give it out as Christmas presents, and one day somebody asked me if they can buy it. And I never thought about selling it. I'm like, how could you sell something that, that you love making? It's like, I enjoy doing it. So I never really, put a thought in my head like, oh, I'm going to have a black cake company. But after I sold that one to that one particular person, word got out, oh, she's selling black cake now, so then the orders started rolling in. So I actually make black cake all year round, and I love it. I started icing it as well with the royal icing, but it's a secret recipe that my mom taught me growing up, and I enjoy it so much. And now as they're getting up there in age, I will actually make black cakes up here, put it in a barrel and send it down to Grenada so they don't have the headache. Because a lot of people, they look at making black cake like, oh my gosh, it's a project. It's so much work. To me, I enjoy it. And I actually even, when we're making cakes for ourselves, not for customers, but when we're making cakes for ourselves at home, I get my little girls involved. So they already started learning the secrets of making black cake and just cakes in general. They love, helping to ice and stuff. But that's just for the cakes for us. I'm not going to have them, help me out with the cakes for other people, but they definitely enjoy it. And I can see that they will continue the tradition of making black cakes when they get older too. They're following in my footsteps. And listen, my mom was first runner up for Miss Grenada. Then I became Miss Grenada. So I'm expecting the kids to do better than me. Each generation you push and you give them opportunities to do better than you could. So already as it is, the amount of work that both of them have done, they already surpassed me in terms of like television, film, and modeling. They definitely are way past me on that level. Because I grew up with like a real strong family base and we always had fun and it was never any bad times or what have you. To me, instilling that with our girls, that is key to me as well. So just being, with the family up here, my husband and the kids, just spending time together, you have to cherish every moment. So yes, you can go have fun and, party and, have a good time with your friends. But to me, what truly, truly makes me happy is my family. If you think something is not right for you or it doesn't look right, don't go ahead with it. Don't go forward. So the good thing about it, I grew up going to the Anglican church and I do have a very strong religious base. And with that, you always think about consequences, or you always think about, okay, well, if I do this, then what? Or if they said this, what do they really mean? So just having that in the back of my head, plus my parents, especially my mom, praying for me all the time, that helps, but just knowing that you have a solid foundation is actually key. If you have a really strong base, a good family base, a good religious base, it actually would help you to make right decisions. So one of the things I would say is, trust your instincts, but also stay grounded and be true to yourself. Never try and lose yourself or become a different person just to fit in with a particular type of friends or what have you. Just be true to yourself. I have a passion for, I just really love motorcycles. So a few years, actually maybe more than a few years ago, probably 15 years ago, I went and I got my motorcycle license up here in New York. So, my driver's license for here, it actually says D and M on it, which means driver and motorcycle. And that's one of the things. I mean, of course, it's kind of dangerous to ride a motorcycle in New York itself, but it's just good knowing that I have my motorcycle license. And if I decided I wanted to do, some type of like motorcycle ride cross country somewhere that's safe, stressing safe. I am a mom now. I would definitely enjoy doing that. So, but that's something that, a lot of people even here, they don't even know that about me. Nutmeg, absolutely nutmeg. So one of the reasons why, growing up, we had an uncle, Uncle Jules Beggs, and I would never forget just going up to the driveway and the walkway of the house, because he had a huge, huge yard, and a lot of nutmeg trees. But he had so many, and he used to sell them, that the nutmeg shells was actually the path for the driveway to make sure the cars didn't skid, and also the path to get up to the stairs at the front of the house to make sure you didn't slip in the mud and fall. And I would always remember that smell. Just going by Uncle Jules, you just, you can smell the nutmeg, you're hearing it like crackling under your foot because you're walking on the actual nutmeg shells. Of course, you take out the nutmeg itself, but it was a really nice walkway path. And, besides those great memories of, going over there and seeing that and smelling the nutmeg, I just love nutmeg because, I use it when I make rock buns. Of course, I put it in the black cake. You can make several drinks with it, rum punch, you could do so much with nutmeg. So, and just even like up here, when I'm making stuff with it, I just love grating it and smelling the actual nutmeg because it just brings me right back home. So to me, nutmeg is the key. And it's on our flag.
Tell me something about your favorite spot in Grenada.
Well, it will have to be Mount Carmel Waterfalls in St. Andrews. It is the highest waterfall in Grenada.
I mean, I do love the waterfall, so I like, going by Granatang, and of course I love the beach. But I probably have to say Livera. Just going up by Livera Beach itself, it reminds me of as kids when we used to drive around the island. My dad actually used to do tours, so we had a bus. So every Sunday, he used to pack all the girls up in the car. Sometimes the cousins would come and we'll drive around the island. And I would always remember going by Livera Beach, and it just brought back so many nice memories. It's not too many people were there, and to me, it just brings back great times. So I really do like Livera Beach. I would actually love for them to start representing us on an international level, like Miss World or Miss Universe. I think we definitely have wonderful, queens coming from Grenada. So we should definitely have them included in those particular shows and not, say, okay, no, it's if the government looks at it, it's really, for tourism. So besides going there and representing Grenada, you're putting Grenada on the map. So Grenada would definitely get highlighted, more people would start talking, oh, I never heard of Grenada. Even here in New York, a lot of people, when I speak to them, they've never even heard of where Grenada is. So I think it will be a wonderful opportunity, not just for the contestant who wins, but also for Grenada to put us on the map by allowing the girls to participate in Miss World and Miss Universe. What's next for me is probably, I would really like to get my black cakes more on an international level and, just to try and get that out there a little bit more. So, but other than that, continue doing what I'm doing and, just try to have the girls go down my path and excel and do even better than I did. I have to say cheers. Thank you so much for watching. And this is one of the sparkling wines that I've been promoting up here. It's Bartonora Moscato Rosé. So if you see one in a store, feel free to pick it up and enjoy. Be safe, everyone.
Well, thank you so much to Kellyanne for making time to share her story and her journey since winning the title of National Carnival Queen back in 1994 with us today on this program. Just to remind you again, this is the Monarch Series. This is a specially produced series, of course, that's going to be running for the entire month of August. We're celebrating all our past winners in Soca, Calypso, and Queen Show. Don't forget to stay updated with everything that we're posting on the channel. Hit the notification button and don't forget to hop over to our YouTube channel and subscribe today. Until next time, remember it's Lexan TV where it's all about life. Take care. Bye bye. Have a great holiday tomorrow.
Ooh.